I think this time last year we were talking about recruiting, so it's nice to be talking about football for another couple of weeks. This is a great opportunity for our guys. It's a reward for a job well done this year. We're obviously not satisfied. There are some thoughts, at least in my head, of what could have been, but we're not quite there yet because we got another game to play. We are appreciative of the invite from the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. We are excited about the opportunity. I'm not going to lie to you. I had a little time in between some recruiting stuff over the weekend where I looked up and watched Oklahoma State return a punt 92 yards with like 2 minutes to go and thought, are you kidding me? And then after we finished our recruiting event, myself, my wife, and a couple of coaches and their wives went out to grab a quick bite, and we were watching the Boise State game, and it's 21-0 at the half, and you're thinking, okay, we're going to be okay. And then all of a sudden you look up and, Fresno's converting an onside kick, and you're thinking, there's no way this could happen to us. But thankfully it went our way, and we were able to the league was able to place 7 bowl-eligible teams into 7 bowls. Honestly, I did not realize how at risk we were until I got an email from the league office talking about how everything was evaluated. And the reality of it was San Diego State and ourselves were both 7-5, and we beat them head-to-head. I thought that's what was going to matter, but what was going to matter was actually the conference record. So I was saying to myself, well, we're 7-5, San Diego State's 7-5, but we've beaten them head-to-head, and we have wins over BYU and Washington State. You would think that would be good enough to get you into a bowl. I did not realize how close it was going to end up being. So we're excited about this opportunity. There are a couple challenges for me personally. The last 36 hours have been spent on logistics, on trying to make sure that we have the best possible plan and the travel party and all those administrative details. We sent the coaches back out on the road because it would be a mistake to simply stop recruiting. The contact period only goes until the 14th. To ignore that would be bad business, so they'll be on the road for a couple of days. Thank God for technology. When we found out our opponent, we got all their film. We downloaded that on the coaches' iPads, so the guys will be able to watch tape and make notes from the road while they're traveling. And then when we get back together on Wednesday, we'll start to put our thoughts together for the game plan. The other difficult thing we have to manage right now is that we're getting ready to play the first bowl game of the season, which is exciting. I complained all year about night games, and they turned around and said, here's a 10 a.m. start. Have fun. When 10 a.m. for a normal home game here with all our night games, we haven't even started our walkthrough. We're literally wiping the syrup off of our faces from breakfast. So this is going to be a little bit of a departure and take some adjusting to, but I think we'll be ready. But to have the first game to start bowl season on ESPN, I think that's pretty neat. But we've got to manage finals, and finals start on Thursday. So our practice times every day are different because of managing the final schedule of our players. Some guys are going to have to take some tests early. We want to publicly thank our academic support people, Dr. Crosdale, our faculty athletic rep, and the great faculty that we work with, because we've already got a lot of responses of faculty being willing to help us in terms of rescheduling tests and doing things so that we can avoid as many conflicts as possible with the travel. So we got to get ready for a football game, and we got to get ready for finals, and that's the challenge for our team as we head into the latter part of this week and all of next. We'll depart for New Orleans on and by the way, it's New Orleans. If you say New Orleans, you get yelled at. That's like saying Nevada around here. I learned that the hard way a couple of years ago. But we'll leave on the 16th in the afternoon, and we'll practice the 17th, 18th, and 19th down in the Superdome and play the game on the 20th, and we'll return right after the game. One of the other challenges that we're facing, and as we talk about it ad nauseum around here, we have to be fiscally responsible. We have to manage and balance the fact that this is a reward for the players, and frankly, it's a reward for the coaches and their families. But at the same time, we are not Texas A&M or Stanford and Notre Dame, the places that I've experienced bowl trips with, and we have to make very responsible decisions in terms of the finances of this. I'd say this to our fans, too. New Orleans is a great city. It's a Saturday game. It would be a chance to come in on Friday night, buy a ticket, go to the bowl game, and still have all day Saturday and all day Sunday to discover the city. So I'm hopeful that we can sell some tickets and some Pac fans will come down and go to a bowl venue that, frankly, has not been a traditional spot for our university. So I'm hopeful that we'll travel, that some folks will show up. We're facing a good opponent. The Ragin Cajuns are a good football team. They're very athletic. They've got some difference makers. Coach Hudspeth has re-energized that program. I want to say there are less than 20 teams in the country that have gone to a bowl game for 4 straight years, I believe now. They're one of them. They're very good, and Coach Hudspeth has done a really good job. There was an article in footballscoop.com at the beginning of the year, which is kind of a coach's gossip site, about how Coach Hud can still bench 400 pounds. I'm not going to win that battle and have no interest in it. Thank goodness we're not in a powerlifting competition, or it'd be an uphill battle. But I think he's done a really good job. And when jobs come open in the Southeast, major BCS jobs, you always hear his name mentioned because football people have so much respect for what he's done. They've been highly successful in the Sun Belt. Offensively, they score 30 points a game. They rush it for nearly 230 yards a game, averaging 5.5 a carry. They pass it for about 188. They have a very big offensive line. The two guards are 315 plus. Excuse me. The quarterback, Broadway, is a senior. He's played a lot of football, makes a lot of plays. He's actually their second leading rusher as the quarterback. They've got two good wideouts, Riles and Butler, their version of James Butler. And I'm the two backs catch your attention because they both play a lot. Alonzo Harris is 6'1", 240. I mean, that's bigger than most of our linebackers. He's the starting tailback. And then Elijah McGuire, 5'11", 200 pounds. He's the leading receiver as a tailback. He's the third leading rusher. He's the punt returner, very versatile player. So he's got our attention. On defense, they've got the best two defensive linemen, I think, collection that we'll see the whole year. Justin Hamilton's got 9 tackles for loss and 5 sacks. And then Christian Ringo, 19 tackles for loss and 10.5 sacks. These are two intimidating defensive linemen. Dominique Tovel, the linebacker, is a good player. He's got 70 tackles. And something I think is a little bit unique as you go through a football season, you don't see this very often, their leading tackles are corner. Trim Corey, 71 tackles, 2 interceptions. So they've got good specialists. Again, McGuire's the punt returner. He's a good player. This is going to be a challenge. For our offense, they hold opponents to only, roughly 50% touchdowns in the red zone. We score touchdowns in the red zone, much improved from where we were a year ago. That'll be a test. And they hold opponents to 40% on third down. So, I mean, you talk about what are the two most crucial situations in a football game. Red zone offense and defense, and then the ability to extend drives on third downs, and they're good at both. So that'll be a challenge for us. Plus, I told our players, expect this to be a road game. We're going to be the road team for the bowl, but I know that the Louisiana fans will travel. It's a bus trip for them. Their fans can drive down. They'll be excited. They'll be loud. That'll be a challenge for us. We're going to look at this. It is a bowl, and we're very excited, but we're going to prepare ourselves as if it were a road game. So with all that rambling, I appreciate your patience, and I'll take any questions.
This is
I'm trying to lean on the experiences I had as an assistant and what I liked and what I didn't like, what the players liked and what they didn't like. And I don't think the approach to preparing for the game is going to be any different. But in terms of setting the template and organizing, when we go into a game week, I've already done the schedule for the week. Everybody's got it. We know when the meetings are. We know what practice is going to be like. This is a little bit different, and I'm trying to draw on the experiences that I've had. And frankly, we had a long discussion as a staff the other night and talked about the pros and cons of some ideas and leaned on people like Lester Erb, who have been to multiple bowl games, Jim Hoffer. There are guys on the staff that have been in a lot of bowl games, and I'm leaning on them as well.
You're not practicing again until next Wednesday, is that right?
No, we're going to practice Wednesday this week, which is reading day, so there's no classes. We will then practice on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and we will not practice on the day that we travel to New Orleans. We'll get a quick weight lift in. We've got a bunch of guys that have finals that morning, and then we will load up the plane and travel to New Orleans, and then we'll practice again on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The meat of the installation, the most physical part of the preparation, will take place here.
You mentioned academics. The bowl game's on the 20th. If there were to be any academic casualties, the bowl game will be played before you know about it, correct?
Technically, that would be correct, but given the information that I have, that I get every Monday from Andrew Caudill, our academic support person, we have nobody in danger of that to this point, which I'm very pleased with. I mean, I think our overall academic health as a football team from where we were a year ago has improved light years. I have very few major concerns, problem children, if you will. And I think, I know what the number is going to be when it's reported in the spring, the APR. You won't know it until it's reported publicly, but it is a significant jump. Our first full year here as a staff, we made a significant leap in terms of our academic production, which I'm very proud of.
That's obviously big considering where that number was.
Yeah, it's a whole lot less scary now.
Is Yates in good standing?
I'm mad at him still, but yeah, he's in good standing. In terms of any punishment from the league, because he was ejected in the first half of the game, then the suspension lasts only through that game and does not carry over to the next one.
And do you expect to have everybody healthy and ready that we would normally expect? Still out.
Hassan is still out. Teray is still out. Engelmeyer, it would be doubtful. We'll get Bertrando back. I think we will be as healthy as we can be, and I think part of last week's plan was to allow for our guys to heal, and we had that injured list was really, really long going into the UNLV game, and it has shrunk significantly, which is good thing for us.
What kind of things can you do to help adjust the time? Do you have plans maybe to practice earlier?
We will practice at 10 a.m. Every day that we're in New Orleans. We're going to start practice at the same time we would kick off.
And you talked about, a trip like this, it is a football game, but it's also a reward. Can you talk about, balancing the two things?
Yes, it's incredibly difficult, and frankly, it has kept me up last night because it's not as though we are going to, South Bend, Indiana, or, a place that we consider relatively tame. We're taking 100 testosterone-charged 18 to 23-year-olds to New Orleans. So obviously that is a concern. I met with the leadership committee last night. We will have one night that the curfew would be late, but there's still curfew. I want them to have – I'm taking the Kevin Sumlin approach, and that is they deserve one night to go out and experience the city. Now, I'm not condoning, knuckleheaded behavior, but they ought to have one chance to walk around in groups and look around New Orleans and experience it a little bit. And There will be bed check, but it'll be a little bit later than it might normally be. And then after that initial night, we'll tighten it down a little bit because the goal is to try and win an 8th game and to try and win a bowl game. And 2010 was the last bowl victory, if I'm correct, the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl. And we need to get back on a bowl streak and winning them. So
you think it's important as a coach to want to be able to give these guys an experience too?
Yes, because I've been on bowl trips where the head coach put everybody under lock and key the moment you arrived, and you're thinking to yourself, well, what's the reward? And I've also experienced them where it was a free-for-all and then you didn't play great, and that's the balance you have to find. And the experience that I go back to was how Kevin Sumlin approached the Cotton Bowl with our Texas A&M team, and that was the night we got there. Okay, guys, you can go enjoy the town a little bit and see what you need to see and walk around and enjoy it, and I won't have you in at 10:30, but after that, we've got to go get back to business. And that's another reason you do the lion's share of your physical work here, so that we're not asking them to go pound on each other in full pads 3 days before the game. The point being, let's get the game plan and everything installed here, and when we get there, just sharpen everything up.
Does it mean something to you to get to 8 wins?
It would for me personally, and I think if we could say, hey, in our first year, from our first year to our second year, we doubled our win total, and I'd like to, I think 8 wins in a football season that's pretty darn good. I don't think I would venture to say that maybe 35 to 40% of the 130 teams in America that play would reach 8 games as wins. I think there's value in an 8th win. I think it's something worth shooting for. And then when the season's done, I'll probably, December 23rd, I'll probably sit on my couch and think, 4 turnovers and we still only lost by 5 to Boise. Colorado State, we tied the game with a minute to go, and unfortunately it got called back on. I'll relive those things later on, but right now I'm looking at an 8th game saying this is a real goal, and I think it's a meaningful goal, at least in my eyes. The public may not feel that way, the media may not feel that way, but ultimately, opinions matter in a sense, but really, to me, I think it shows significant progress. Dan had mentioned earlier in the year, he looked at Colorado State and said, could you compare your trajectory to theirs? Coach McElwain's first year, they were a 3 or 4 win team. The second year, they showed significant progress. We're an 8-win team with a bowl win. I'd like to be able to say, hey, in our second year, we were an 8-win team with a bowl win. That's my goal, and I think it's a valuable, meaningful goal. Doesn't mean we're going to get there. We got work to do. I'm certainly not taking anything for granted. We got to go get it, but I think it's a meaningful goal.
A lot of coaches tend to think and tend to say that a bowl win can build momentum for the next year. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like a win, a bowl game builds momentum?
I think a bowl in general helps build momentum because now we get extra practice, especially with our youngsters. There are red shirts that these extra practices and lifts are meaningful, and they will help us be better in spring football. And to go out recruiting after a bowl win, I think it is momentum building. And to be able, we were in homes last weekend, this week, to go into a home and say, yeah, we were 4-8 a year ago. We've got 7 wins now. We're trying for an 8th, and we're doing it as the 9th youngest team out of 130 in Division 1A football. I think it signifies that we're on the uptick and that we're trying to get people to believe, hey, if we're a stock, buy it now, because we hope that the price will be rising here as we stay.
How excited are you for these seniors to be in a bowl game, especially after not making one last year?
We had a senior dinner last night where we had the chance to share a meal together, the coaches and the seniors, and I'm so very excited for them, and I want them to win, and they deserve it, and we appreciate everything that they've done. And I reminded them, there are times during the year that you go out to a Tuesday practice and you're like, oh boy, all right, here we go. And I reminded them that what we do is not forever. You can be a golfer and you can drop dead at 85 on the 9th fairway and go out playing golf. And baseball players play beer league softball until they have to put a prosthetic hip in. But our game is not forever. And unfortunately, the vast majority of us are told when it's done. We don't get to make the choice. And there are going to be a lot of guys in that room that will put on shoulder pads for the last time when we play that game. And you can't take that for granted. I told them, enjoy these 2 weeks of practice. This is fun. When's the next time this group will ever be in a room together after the game? It may not ever happen again. So I want them to enjoy it, and I want to send them out with a win.
Coach, every team with the schedule this year would be like a West Coast team. You're playing a team from the South. Is there any different characteristics?
Yeah, they're faster. I mean, honestly, they are. Their skill can really run. I mean, when you think about a school whose home recruiting base is Louisiana and Texas, they're going to have a lot of skill that can run. So I do think, they've got our attention. We have a lot of respect. We have a lot of respect for our opponent.
And the game being in the Superdome and the history of that stadium, is that kind of a...
Yeah, I think it's...
Is it like a Hoosiers...
I don't know if it's a Hoosiers moment. We played in the Rose Bowl. I think it's cool. I think it's cool to say that I got a chance to play in that building. I've coached in that building. I'm 0-1, so I'd like to get back to even. Seems like every time I go into that building, we're the road team, though. We went in at Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl against LSU, so you can imagine how that fan base was leaning for that game. But, yeah, I think it is a cool experience that we get to play there. It'll be fun.
Does playing in a game in New Orleans help you at all in recruiting in that area?
Yes, it does. Having a presence there, because we are still actively recruiting in Alabama, in Louisiana, in Texas, and those are bordering states. If they're not bordering states, they're close, so nobody check my geography. But, yeah, it helps because you're recruiting these guys, and all of a sudden you're playing within a stone's throw. Yeah, it helps. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. That's one of the benefits of being chosen by this bowl game.
Have you put any thought into some of the things that, as you go into New Orleans, you as yourself, things that you're looking forward to about the city?
No, I've been there enough. I'm going to get a beignet or two. I mean, where I'm from in Buffalo at the Erie County Fair, they call that fried dough. But in New Orleans, it's a beignet, and it's fantastic. I will probably try to sneak away for one night to have a nice dinner with my wife, Laura. She is hell-bent on bringing the two kids. I'm not quite sure I agree that that's the best idea. But we'll go have some fun and enjoy the experience. I've got some friends that are going to come in. The response, I will tell you on a personal level, the response yesterday, text messages and phone calls from guys that I grew up with, guys I went to college with, teammates, when you say, hey, congratulations, your first bowl game as a head coach, that's been neat and frankly unexpected. I did not think that we would get that. I did not think that there were that many people in Northeast Ohio who cared about the Fremont Cannon, but I got a lot of 216 messages about good job bringing it home. So, yeah, it's been cool that way.
Coach, not to bring up negative, sorry, but after the
It's back?
you might want to start over on
How about that? Okay. Oh, brought up negative stuff and the mic died. Okay, so I was reprimanded by the conference office for comments made after the UNLV game where I called the officiating horrible. And frankly, I thought this year I've said worse, but apparently your word choices have a lot to do with it. And the conference office was absolutely right to reprimand me. I accept it completely, and my choice of words was incorrect. I will say this. It's incredibly frustrating to go week to week and have these incredibly mysterious penalties that I've never seen in my life get called. And then on Tuesday they say, yeah, you're right. For example, we throw an interception against Fresno State. An offensive lineman dives to make a tackle when we are technically on defense now, misses the tackle, and we get called for a block below the waist post-possession. I've never seen that in my life. And then you get the email Tuesday and they say, yeah, you're right. There's no way that should have ever been called. And then what set me off in the UNLV game was two things. We punted the ball. The ball had been punted, and we get called for a hold down the field. Randy Uzoma does. Why on earth would somebody who's covering a kick hold somebody? It's beyond reason. We're trying to cover the field and tackle the guy. It was the ball had been kicked. They called it down the field. You get the email back, yes, that should have never been called. Those are the things that frustrate me, the ones that defy logic. And you say, my word choice was incorrect. I got reprimanded, so did a young man from UNLV. We have video where he's run out of bounds and takes a shot at a redshirt freshman who's dressed in street clothes. Our guy tries to catch him so he doesn't run into the bench. And in that exchange, they have a guy in full uniform take a shot at one of our kids who's in street clothes. And the league publicly reprimands that player. When you send it into the officials to get it reviewed, they're like, I'm not sure we see anything. Wait a minute. If there was nothing, why did the league offer a reprimand to the player? And those are the frustrating things from somebody like me who's a football junkie, who looks at everything, and I want to understand how this stuff happens. I lost my cool for a second. I used words I should not have, and it's completely my fault, but there is some frustration there with how things go. I mean, judgment calls, was it PI, was it not PI? Okay, I get it. I may not always agree, but at least I can see the other side of it. Block below the waist when you're trying to tackle somebody, I'm not sure I get that. And those are the things that frustrate me. So,
You want to talk more about beignets now?
beignets. Let's go back to fried dough. So,
Are you comfortable with the maturity of your team going into a city like New Orleans?
the leadership of it, I am. I'd be lying to you if I'm not worried about some of the youngsters. And I'm also worried because there are places in New Orleans that if you take a wrong turn and you walk 2 blocks, you could go from a tourist area to a rough spot. I mean, I know the city well enough to know that's real. We will meet with the bowl people upon arrival, and they will have either a security person or a New Orleans PD representative to come in and give our guys. They do that at every bowl, but I think at a city like New Orleans, where you have to be smart about where you're at, I think we're going to have to listen to those people very closely. So.
You mentioned last year before the UCLA game you were going to take a second, soak it all in. Is that going to be the same thing for your first bowl game too?
Yes, I probably will. I'll enjoy it for a moment or two and then go back to work. I don't do anything in pregame anyway, but stand around and be nervous. I mean, and throw ducks to Brian Lane in 7-on-7. So, yeah, I'll probably sit back and enjoy it for a second. So, we good? All right, thanks, guys.
Question for Cody.
Cody, given this class's bowl history, how much are you looking forward to this one?
A lot, actually. To go out with 8 wins is big. To win a bowl game is big, something that this senior class hasn't done personally. You know, we were a part of the 2010 team, but obviously didn't step on the field. So getting the cannon back was huge for us, and now getting a bowl win is going to be also very big for us.
Do you go back to the 2012 bowl and maybe use that as any sort of motivation in these next couple weeks?
Yeah, you know, I'd rather not think about it. It was a tough game, but definitely use the experience of being at a bowl game and, you know, how to approach a bowl game. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of distractions. It doesn't matter if you're in New Orleans or, you know, or somewhere in California. Bowl games are going to have distractions all over the place. You got a lot of time down, but you got to use it to watch film and use it for your advantage. And I think a lot of the older guys understand that, and just bringing some of those younger guys along, but also enjoying the moment as well.
You guys, you know, you had a couple of tough losses there down a little bit, the team overall, but then the big win down in Vegas. Where is the team kind of focus mindset right now?
I think we're in a really good spot. Winning the Cannon was huge for not only our confidence, but just for re-energizing the team and the community. We're in, like I said, a really good spot. Guys are getting healthy. We had a lot of time down, not so much practicing, and Coach Polian just kind of let us focus on academics. And I only have one class, so it's not that hard for me. But I'm sure other guys, kind of took advantage of it, and it's a lot less stressful.
How special is it for you to get this bowl game in your senior year, especially after not making one last year?
It's very special. Just the opportunity to play one more time is big for me, and I know for all the seniors. Some guys may never put their shoulder pads on again, and if you don't make a bowl game, then you don't get that extra game to go out and give everything you got. Also, what I like about bowl games is it's the last game of the year, so you got guys throwing their body around, knowing that there's not a game after that. Everyone's just willing to put everything they have on the line to win that bowl game.
Has it hit you yet that this is your last game here at Nevada? I mean, does that enter your mind?
A little bit, but I don't want to get distracted by it too much. I just want to give everything I have, obviously, in my last game and go out and have these seniors go out with a bowl win. And with an 8-win season would be pretty special for us.
Were you aware that you guys had a chance to possibly not make a bowl game? Were you watching TV at all Saturday?
I was. I watched the Oklahoma State and Oklahoma game, and I was like, this is just our luck. I watched the ending there. It was pretty crazy. And then you turn on the Boise State game, and Fresno's coming back, and you're just like, oh, please don't do this. Please don't do this. And, Boise ended up beating them, and here we are with the bowl opportunity, and we're going to take advantage of it. Really excited. It's, like you said, got a lot of history. I'm a big Drew Brees fan. I look up to him and what he's done with the Saints, and just the fact to play on the same field that he's played on and some other greats, it's going to be a pretty special feeling.
Coach mentioned they have a lot of speed on that team as a quarterback. Is that something you have to take a little extra care on just watching the film?
Yeah, definitely. I haven't spent too much time on the film. I know that they do run around, and their defensive line is pretty good. Our offensive line's going to have to work out some things, but it's going to be a good game. I met their quarterback, Broadway, down at the Manning camp 2 years, 3 years. I think I met him all 3 years, and he's a good kid, nice guy, and I look forward to seeing him before and after the game, and being back in Louisiana should be fun.
You remember the last time you played a football game at 10 in the morning?
No, I don't. Air Force was pretty close, I guess. That's the last time I can remember waking up early and kind of going and rushing to the stadium. Usually we're used to, getting a nap or something and doing whatever you got with that extra time. But now the biggest thing about a morning game is the sleep the night before is really big. We've been fortunate enough to have night games where if you get bad sleep due to nerves or your mind wandering, you'll be able to take a nap during the day. But that's not the case this time with a morning game. So it's going to be a little bit harder on us, but we're just going to have to get some good sleep.
Have you ever been to New Orleans? And also, if you have or haven't, are there some things that you're looking forward to?
I have. Every year I went down to the Manning camp, you got to fly into New Orleans, and I would stay there an extra day and walk Bourbon Street. It's a very scenic place, and Coach mentioned the beignets. They're actually really good. It's just dough with powdered sugar on it, but it's really good, and maybe get a chance to eat another one of those. But it's a lot of fun. The atmosphere is great down there. You look up in the trees, and you see the beads from Mardi Gras, and you see all the balconies, and you just wonder how crazy it gets during that time.
You talked about the senior leadership, and the meeting they had about going to New Orleans and that kind of stuff. I guess what kind of role do you guys have to play to make sure everyone is making the trip safe and whatnot?
I think we got to bring the young guys along. Most of these freshmen and some of these sophomores haven't ever experienced what a bowl game's like. And so for us older guys who have experienced a bowl game and what we have and what kind of downtime we have to be there for them, kind of say, hey, look, there's time to have fun and then there's time to focus, and just kind of be that mediator for them, just telling them when they can have fun and when they have to really buckle down and focus on football.
How big is that? He's going to give you guys a night to go kind of have fun. You're still going to have curfew, but does that allow you to have that release? Does it make it easier for guys to pay attention to curfews the rest of the week?
I think definitely. If you put a speaking personally, I think if you put a curfew on us every night, guys are going to wander. Their minds are going to wander. They're going to want to, go out and do something maybe rebellious. But the fact that he's given us that opportunity to go out and have fun and experience the town, it's a reward, like you said. I think guys will respond really well to that. Just the fact after that, he'll be like, look, you guys had your fun. You had a good night. Now let's focus on football and let's get better.
Did CA do that? Did he give you guys a free night kind of thing, or was it curfew every night?
Yeah, we were pretty much curfew almost every night. In 2012, there's not much to do in Albuquerque. And Hawaii, we were pretty much on lockdown throughout the whole thing. I remember we went to Dave & Buster's for like 30 minutes, and we had a bunch of tokens from the bowl, and we just started playing, and he's like, all right, let's go to practice. And we're like, oh, what? We just got here. So we were pretty locked down, and I think it's good that we got the opportunity to kind of enjoy it a little bit and then focus on football.
Are you a foodie? Are you looking forward to not just the beignets, but what really makes New Orleans?
Yeah, last time I was down there, I had some fried gator, and it was pretty good. So hopefully they got that. I'm not a big fan of quail. I had quail down there last time. It wasn't my favorite. But any sorts of seafood is always good down there. I'm a big shrimp guy, big seafood guy, so I'm looking forward to it for sure.
You and Brock had a theme at the Mountain West Media Days. Is going to be a theme in New Orleans too?
I'm not sure. We'll see. We just like to have fun with it. A lot of these seniors, knowing that this is our last time playing with each other, we're just going to, like I said, have fun with each other, play for each other, and just try and soak it all up.
Knowing there's going to be a lot of NFL scouts, is that something you have in the back of your mind, or are you
Just focusing on the game. Scouts are going to come through, whether it's an all-star game, the pro day, combine. There's going to be more opportunities for scouts to see me, so it's not like this is the only chance they're going to get. But it also, makes you want to play a little bit harder, obviously, because everyone's goal is to go play on in the NFL, and that's what I want to do, and hopefully I get my chance.
Coach was saying that you guys are kind of looking at it as a road game. I mean, obviously, with their proximity to the Superdome, expecting a lot of their fans. I mean, is that kind of what you're expecting, kind of a road atmosphere?
Definitely. I think that when they make a big play, it's going to be loud, and when we make a big play, it's going to be silent. We've had the opportunity to play in some big stadiums with lots of fans there, so I think it's not going to be anything new to us. But it's definitely going to be an away game, and they're going to have that advantage, but we'll be okay.
You guys have a better road record this year than you do at home. Is that something you take with you down there?
Definitely. You got to take the experience, the road victories as well, the confidence that you get from road victories, and it's just going to be a road game atmosphere. Except we're going to get there a little bit earlier, which is nice, so you're going to get to acclimate a lot quicker. But the atmosphere is going to be great. Playing in a bowl game is going to be great, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Anything else for Cody? Thank you. Questions for John?
John, how much do you as a senior, does this senior class and this team need a bowl win? Is it comparable to the UNLV game?
I think it is. I've been here since 2011, and every year except last year we went to a bowl game, we ended up losing, and every time I think about a bowl game, I think about New Mexico. Only playing special teams, and we had the opportunity to win. We was up 13, I believe, and then Arizona came back and beat us by 1. And when bowl season comes around, that's all I think about. And I know how those seniors felt leaving that stadium with that loss by 1. And I know the seniors on this team don't want to go through that, and I don't want anybody else to go through it either.
really well. You guys have faced a lot of pretty good run teams this year. How much does that help you?
You know, it helps us a lot. You know, our motto is to stop the run. You know, they want to run the ball. We got a good D-line. We got a good linebacker core, and we're going to commit to stopping the run. We're going to make them throw the ball.
What about going to New Orleans? Is this your first trip there?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Can't wait for it.
Are you a food guy, or what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm a food guy. You know, looking forward to all the seafood, you know, crawfish, you know, the gumbo, everything they have down there.
How exciting is it to make this bowl game in your senior year, especially, I mean, after the disappointment last season of not making one?
It's very exciting, you know. I know going into last week we had a chance of not going to a bowl game and just sitting at home watching the conference championship games and just watching teams fight for their life. And it kind of scared me, you know, seeing Oklahoma State win and then seeing Fresno starting to make a comeback. And I just didn't know what to think or where we was going to go.
How excited are you to play in the Superdome, like to host the Super Bowl that the Saints play?
I'm real excited, you know. I always wanted to play in, like, NFL stadiums, you know, after playing in San Diego, and I think I played in another one, but I'm not really sure. But I feel like playing in a dome is pretty exciting. It's going to be super fun, and just the whole atmosphere of the Mercedes Benz arena is going to be real nice. That's something I can look back and tell my kids I did.
And Coach mentioned they have a lot of team speed as a linebacker. What do you have to look out for with that?
Just running from sideline to sideline, you know. We got to take good angles. They have good speed, but I think at the same time, by eliminating some of their chances to go both ways, it'll stop them.
You know, Coach was saying that he's going to give you guys that night off. You know, do you think that's a good idea to be able to have that one set night you guys can go out and enjoy the city?
Yeah, I think it is. You know, playing under Coach Ault, it was more like he told us what we were doing, when we was doing, and now Coach is giving us at least one day. I think it's gonna eliminate some of the distractions, especially from the younger guys, and it's gonna allow us to, you know, have a good time as a team and experience the city.
Is there one like food item in particular you're really looking forward to?
You know, I heard a lot about the crawfish. I have a brother that's out there in Louisiana, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Is your brother going to be able to go to the game?
It depends on his military schedule. Right now, he's telling me he might have knee surgery, so he's not sure if he's going to be able to make it.
Where's he stationed?
In Louisiana?
Do you know the name of the base?
I have no idea.
Army, Navy? Or...
He's in the Army.
And what's your brother's name?
It's John Singh. It's like pretty much we adopted him to our family. I've known him since middle school, so it's not really blood brother, but he's real close.
And I'm sorry, what's his name?
Jonathan Singh.
How do you spell that?
Jonathan. Singh is Singn.
S-I-N-G-H?
Hn, yeah, Hn.
Early start, 10 a.m. local time, and again, you guys have had all these night games this year. How do you prepare for the early morning start?
Like Coach said, you know, practice in the daytime. You know, just get ourselves used to being up early and, you know, just trying to experience what it's going to be like during the game.
Having NFL scouts there and being the only game on, is that kind of something that you put in the back of your head that, you know, there's people watching that get a good chance to look at you?
I mean, yeah, it's of course, you know, it makes us work harder. You know, it's firsthand, you know, the scouts can come down and watch us play, you know. I just feel like outside of the scouts, just knowing that NFL players can actually come to the game and you can see or probably interact with them after the game is pretty exciting.
Have you thought about the fact that this is going to be the last game?
Yeah, I thought about it. You know, all last week, you know, having a week off, it gave me a lot of time to think. But at the same time, it's more of we got to focus on this game. You know, I worry about this being my last game after the game and just go from there.
What kind of things are you going to soak in?
The atmosphere, you know, soak in the great season that I had with my teammates, you know, all the seniors I've been around and the whole coaching staff.
Have you thought at all about the bowl swag? Apparently you get a fossil watch, I think, and then you also get to like almost
think it's pretty interesting. You know, Fossil Watch would be nice, and then I just think that it'd be real nice to actually pick your own gift instead of being given anything. So it'll make it that much more better.
Is there anything you're keeping your eye on? Or
I don't know. I mean, the last time I got a gift suite, you know, I didn't go for the big thing. I kind of regret it. So I think I'm going to go out with a bang and get something real big if they have it.
Probably going to be kind of a road type atmosphere for you guys with them being, you know, real close to the Superdome. Are you expecting for kind of a road atmosphere and a lot of their fans?
Yeah, I'm expecting that. You know, being great on the road. I mean, I believe we only lost one game to Arizona this year, and I just feel like that makes us better. You know, we get to go into another team's home and, you know, come out with a victory, silence their fans, and with the fans we have there, you know, just hear them chanting our names. So it's pretty exciting.